I have no idea. You know, once a guy starts to get the kind of hype he was getting, a lot of things affect him. You know what I mean? So I'm sure there was a lot of things. I was hearing rumblings that he didn't want to do any media, and he was this and that and all this other stuff. So, you know, all that bullshit plays a factor in what happens.
Dana, how much easier is it for you guys to promote guys like Connor who come out and they talk and they're kind of characters?
Well, the thing, you know, Connor's a character, but first and foremost, dude's a fighter. I mean, all he wants to do is fight, and he wants to fight everybody, and he wants to, you know. So yeah, it's real easy to promote guys who want to fight and kick ass. Sure. You know.
You've got guys that feel like they do that anyways. Like say, like a lot of us do that. You know, you guys go jobbing for the title fight, and then somebody like him wanders and says, "What am I doing wrong? What am I doing? I mean, what do I need to do different?" What's somebody like Aaron who wins 5 in a row and. But these are guys who are quiet, they don't say much.
But it's not even about being quiet. It's about some guys just have that thing, and girls just have that thing. I mean, look at Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey, I mean, she's arguably one of the top 3 biggest stars in the UFC. And, you know, it's not about anything she does differently. It's just she has that thing. Some people have it and some people don't. Some people can go their whole life and, you know, even a guy like Anderson Silva. Anderson Silva took a long time. I mean, the guy's been winning fights since 2005 or 6 or whatever here, you know, and it took a while for people to get into Anderson too.
When you talk about being a promoter, seeing the spark building into a fire, have you seen any of that type of Brandon Thatcher's and a lot of buzz about him coming into the UFC, tossing the 9 first round finishes in a row?
Yeah, no, it's true. Yeah, and once it's a kid like that, then once it starts to get out about him and people start to learn about him, people love that. People, first of all, people love people who finish. You know, they love exciting fighters, and you know, it's almost a no-brainer.
I know you don't like to matchmake on the night of the fight, but
Right.
Carlos does put you in a tough spot because 2 title fight losses, but he's still number 2 in the world, I think, behind
Right.
Johnny. The only top 10 guy not matched up right now is Matt Brown. Some buzz on the internet about that fight. Is that something you might think just because they're the only 2 top 10 guys right now? I think.
No, we got a fight for Matt Brown already. We already got a fight for him.
Serious?
I don't think so, because I don't know if it's signed yet, but we already have a fight for him.
Dana,
It's a perfect fight for him.
You talked about CM Punk being here tonight, and it seems we see him at more UFC cards than not. So
Right.
What's your take on him being such a big fan?
No, it's cool. He's a really great guy. He's you know, he loves the sport. He drove here from Chicago, you know, and to see the fight. I mean, that's cool. He's a real cool guy.
Although it's kind of funny that in his last main event, Brock Lesnar referred to him as a guy who was like only trains an hour at his local gym and knows nothing about MMA. So he was kind of saying that CM Punk was uneducated, and yet we see CM Punk all the time. So.
He was talking to me tonight. He was pretty educated about what was going on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it seems like he's very up on it. So.
Yeah, it's weird Brock would say something negative about somebody.
Dana, have you had any talks with, you talked about fighters who finish and make a presence and talk a good game and can back it up in the ring cage. Have you had any talks with Rory McDonald about his fighting style? You weren't happy with his last win against Ellenberg, or are you just going to see what he does next?
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't tell these guys how to fight or what to do. I mean, I go in and I say, this is what you should do. You know, I know he wasn't too thrilled about what I had to say at the last press conference, but I don't care. I wasn't too thrilled with his last fight, so we're even.
Dana, I know that you said that Wednesday night is going to be like a challenge for you. The next 2 fights in Brazil are going to be on Wednesday nights, and we have soccer.
All the fights we are everywhere are going to be Wednesday nights, except for pay-per-views and some one-off shows on Saturdays.
Are you not worried about public over there because it's Wednesday night?
I can't worry about that. I mean, we got to do what we got to do, and one thing that we've always been good at is making stuff work and figuring things out. So we'll figure it out.
You know, when you said 7 to 8 months for Mexico, it seemed like a very specific time frame. Is there an actual date locked in now?
No, but that makes the most sense for me.
And just going back to the knee, it seems like most people, the illegal knee in the first fight, it seems like most people, when you watch the replays from all the different angles, it looks like the second one actually hit him.
Doesn't. It hits him in the shoulder.
face.
Doesn't hit him in the face. Doesn't hit him in the face. No, the knee hits him in the shoulder, and the punch. What knocks him out is the punch. That knee doesn't do anything.
Really?
No, it's the punch that hurts him.
Right, but his
That knee is legal. 2 legal knees,
because the first one is clear in the chest.
and the second one's in the shoulder, and his head moves back because he's so close to him. He didn't get hit with the knee at all, and the knee didn't even go near his face.
Also, what do you think of? And now it's escaping me, but there was one fight, 30-27.
Yeah.
30-27 for the other guy.
Yeah, crazy, man. It's crazy. It's just how you could see a fight so differently, and it's just bad.
Dana, what was the decision that you announced right at the start of the press conference of switching from Fox Sports 2, the prelims now to Fox Sports 1? Was that something they decided on the fly tonight?
No,
Based on?
no.
So this was just a one-time thing that was going to be on Fox Sports 2? And
No, we decided, like, I called Eric the other day and I said, we should just put everything on Fox Sports 1 like we did the first night. He's like, you're right, we should. Let's do it.
Talk about the mentality of making the Vitor Dan Henderson fight. Vitor, he's spoken openly about he's been kind of difficult to deal with lately. Obviously, Dan's on a couple losses though, and Vitor's talked about title shots, but a loss is a loss. He loses to Dan Henderson, whether it's 205 or not. I gotta imagine it's gonna knock him back a little bit.
He wants to fight everybody. He wants to fight nobody. Doesn't want this fight. He wants that fight. Everybody who fights, he wants to fight that. Like, as soon as I'm done, I'm surprised he's not calling tonight, saying he wants to fight Carlos Condit. You know what I mean? It's like, this is after all the things that we were trying to do, this is where we ended up with him and Dan Henderson. You know?
You were wondering if
I know I ask it every time, but it's Russia still in the picture. Do you guys do any work
Well,
in kind of investigating?
no, we're going to Russia, but yeah, we're working on it. We want to do a show in Russia.
Any
Nothing
details?
yet. Nothing yet.
Not 7-8 months?
No. Well, we got to go there first. Me and Lorenzo are going there. We're gonna meet with some guys, and then we're gonna.
Do you have a specific date where you're going already?
We do, but I don't know what it is. Yeah.
But like usually when you go to the market, you send like advertising the PR team to like explore and see how it works and what you need guys to do to be successful in the market. Is there anything already going on there?
It's just me and
maybe
Lorenzo. Yeah, it's me and Lorenzo are going. And yeah, I can't really talk about it, but we're going there. We're going to talk to the right people, and we're going to figure out whether we can do this or not.
Speaking of your travel schedule, Dana, it's here Wednesday, Milwaukee this weekend, Belo Horizonte next week. How is it for you, the traveling and the many areas to see? How are you holding up with all that?
I'm 100% healed from Meniere's, man. I haven't had an attack since Germany, and I'm good. I'm 100%. Before I went and got that shot in Germany, I was on some crazy diet. I couldn't do this. I couldn't do that. I couldn't drink alcohol. I drank plenty of alcohol in Boston when I was back in Boston. I ate all the foods I wasn't supposed to eat. I didn't sleep much, and all the things that you're not supposed to do. And I did it for 10 days straight, and I still didn't have an attack. So I'm literally cured from this thing, man.
So the travel schedule is not going to be a problem anytime forward?
Nope.
Cool.
I'm back.
All right.
Dana, speaking of Russia, do you have any thoughts about the legislation passed recently? It's been getting a lot of attention, banning support of gay rights.
In Russia?
Yeah. So a lot of Olympic athletes have been talking about.
No, I know nothing about it.
There's a lot of stuff going on against this.
Yeah, except me. I know nothing about it.
You mentioned multiple times judging, also refereeing. I've been asked this a million times, but I haven't heard you answer. What can the UFC do to help work on better judging, better refereeing?
I talk about it. That's all I can do is really talk about it and bitch about it. And, we don't make those decisions. Like tonight, with that knee, there should have been an instant replay. They should have gone down there and we have it. We have everything there. Everything's available. Ariel Helwani can't see it, but I saw it. Plus we have the one that I watched it on. We have super slow mo where you can break. Like you see in between rounds when we show the guys getting hit with some of those shots, you can see that knee on super slow mo. It hits him in the shoulder, and his head goes back like this because his thigh pushes against his face. It's not a knee.
And you mentioned locations, Russia,
Yeah,
Mexico, and so on.
You have that access. We don't have that access.
I do, so shut up. I'm right and you're wrong.
For the record, I never said what I thought it was. I was just
I'm
asking
kidding.
you.
I'm messing with you.
Oh, sure. No problem.
And you mentioned Russia, Mexico City, so on and so forth. In this area, particularly like Columbus and so on and so forth, it's been a while since you've been there. Are you going back?
Yeah, no, it's true. It has been a while. Cincinnati, too. Yeah, we will.
And then speaking about venues, Gary Cook announced last week or 2 weeks ago that you're going to Poland in 2014. There are rumors that you're looking at the biggest soccer stadium in Poland in Warsaw. What can you tell about it?
Actually, he would know more about that than I do. Yeah, you got to talk to him about that one.
And then you signed the Ukrainian guy, the first Ukrainian guy who's going to be on the card in Milwaukee. UFC going, all over the world, opening new countries and getting new fighters from different. Do you have any thoughts on his upcoming debut?
Yeah, I mean, that's what we always do. We're always looking for the best guys from all over the world. And I love when we get guys that, are from new territories. And we're actually, a few years ago, we were very close to doing a fight in the Philippines. And an Ultimate Fighter down there, too. We finally got that deal done. We're going to the Philippines, too. We're going to do a fight down there. Not a tough, but we're bringing a fight to the Philippines. So the end of this year looks awesome. All the fights stay together, as is right now. It's going to be a great end of the year. And then again, next year we have tons of new things that we're working on, from Russia to Mexico to the Philippines, and the Ultimate Fighters that we're working on in these other countries, and it's going to be fun.
Is India still one of those Ultimate Fighters?
Yeah, we're still working on India.
It'll
Yep.
be next year. It's something you think it'll be this year?
You get into these deals and you start trying to figure out how to get them done and work them and all. It takes some of them get done and some of them take more time. Look at how long we've been in Canada and how strong a market Canada is for us, and we still haven't really done a real Ultimate Fighter up there. We're finally getting that done. So none of this shit is easy, and a lot of it takes time.
Can I just bring up Vitor's?
Yeah.
Go back to him for a second. You had a slightly public back and forth on Twitter with a reporter who's not here right now about something that was tweeted out about Vitor fighting in Brazil. Without getting into that part.
I did? Who?
Kevin.
Oh, yeah,
So-
Kevin. Oh, yeah, you want to talk about that? Let's talk about it.
I don't want to talk about that.
We can talk about that. So here's what happened with that. Well, the thing was, first of all, I'm at fucking SeaWorld. It's my daughter's birthday, okay? I'm walking around SeaWorld all day, hot, fucking sweating and miserable. And then Lorenzo calls me and says, check, double check, but I'm pretty sure that fucking Kevin Iole just called us shady on Twitter. And I said, what? Why would he call us shady? And the fact that Vitor is fighting in Brazil again. And so I look, sure enough, I respond to Kevin, and then, 5 minutes later, me and Kevin get on the phone, and it's like, he's like, well, I wasn't calling you shady, I was calling Vitor shady. Vitor doesn't choose where he fights. Vitor doesn't pick where he fights. He tries to pick who he fights, but, he doesn't choose where he fights. And we put him down there. First of all, the second most important media that we're in business with is Globo. Globo is very important. I don't know if you guys remember. I don't even remember what show it was, where we were all kind of sitting around for 20 minutes. It was kind of like this odd, like, what the fuck is going on? It was like this whole stalemate in the show. And it was during right before Machida fought. We had to go at a certain time to air on TV for them. They wanted that fight at like 10:36. Exactly, So we had to try to work around that and deliver this fight to them when they wanted it. They have a big fight that's going to be on Global. They wanted fucking Vitor. So they want Vitor, they're going to get Vitor. They tell me they want fucking, whoever they say they want, I'm going to try to make it happen. So everybody starts coming out. I don't know how many times I have to say that obviously we're not in a Chuck Liddell situation here where, like, this guy's my best friend and, whatever Chuck wants, we're going to do, You can tell me and Vitor are a little, and Vitor Belfort is not cheating. Vitor Belfort is not being tested. Vitor Belfort is not fighting in Brazil because he can get away with something down there. That's ridiculous. First of all, we wouldn't do that for anybody. Anybody. We would never put together a situation where a fighter has an advantage over another fighter. You know, there's all these other things that come into play, like you got to fight Vitor in fucking Brazil and fly down there and do all this shit and things. Those are the only type of advantages a guy will get. You know what I mean? Plus, Vitor doesn't even fucking live in Brazil. Vitor lives in Florida. You know what I mean? You realize that, right? Vitor lives in Florida. Why isn't he fighting in Nevada? He was going to fight in Nevada. We were going to have him fight in Nevada. I think the last Scrum I told you that. Well, they want him in fucking Brazil, so that's where he's going to fight.
My follow-up question.
That didn't answer the question.
Well, no. It's kind of like you and Lorenzo and you guys behind the scenes. Don't you have to kind of assume that fans and journalists or whoever are maybe going to theorize on things like that, and then how do you combat that other than just sitting here and telling us what you just told us? You just have to deal with it?
No, it's the fucking truth. I mean, other than tell you the truth, I mean, I literally tell you guys everything. I tell you guys too much all the time. And there's no way in fucking hell I would let Vitor Belfort stay in Brazil if he was cheating down there. And that was the reason why he was there. You know, there is a commission there that oversees what we do down there too. It's not run by us. They come in and they test him. And I told you Vitor was tested before, and even I told Kevin, I said, call Ratner, ask about the tests and what his levels were and everything else. Well, then that's information that you can't give out because it's like fucking like medical information. But Vitor Belfort is being tested, and Vitor Belfort is within the limits of what he's supposed to be when he fights. I mean, I don't know what to tell you other than, you know, it's the truth, and believe me or don't believe me. But to come out and say, to call us shady, and especially a guy like Kevin Iole, because I'll tell you what, and I've never said this publicly before, but, you know, Kevin Iole is a guy from Vegas who, you know, we've known for a long time, from the boxing days and whatever, and when all that shit went down with Randy Couture, when he was fucking lying about how much he made, I literally called Kevin Iole and I said, come on down here right now. You can go through every fucking contract and look through all the papers, and you can find out who's fucking lying and who's telling the truth. And he did. So we've always been upfront, and never, you think that we would lie about that and risk the credibility of the sport, the UFC as a brand, so that Vitor Belfort could fight in fucking Brazil and cheat? So we're gonna flip this whole fucking thing upside down for Vitor Belfort, my best friend. That just makes no sense.
I'm with you.
When you really fucking look at it and think about it, it makes no sense. You know? If we fucking lied and we're doing that and did that, right? Look at Rampage. Dude was my best friend at one time. We were fucking running the 3-legged race for like 2 months, attached at the fucking hip. And now I'm like the slave master from fucking whatever Tito called me. That fucking buffoon. You know what I mean? Yeah. How about this fucking moron coming out and saying he was a slave? Do you even... I shouldn't even ask that question if he knows what a slave means, because he's one of the dumbest motherfuckers you will ever meet. Seriously. He's a slave to stupidity, is what he is. But yeah, it's like, if we were doing that for Vitor Belfort, and we get sideways with Vitor in a year, you don't think you'd hear about it? Think you'd know about it? You know? All these guys were, at one minute they're like, yeah, UFC, it's the greatest place on earth. We make so much money. A fucking year later, they're pissed off and like, you know. But you don't ever hear all these guys that are pissed off. What do they say? You know, those two the other day, we were mistreated, and, you know, we just want to be respected, and they said mean things to us, and, you know, whatever the fuck that means, okay? You don't ever hear them come out and say that we did fucking shady shit, or we did bad things, or we ever told somebody to do this, or we ever made somebody do that, or we allowed them to cheat, or we did this or that. You know, 13 years of being in the business, having guys under contract with us that were, everything was great and happy, and then when they get disgruntled and they end up going away, what's the one thing you hear? I don't like what he said. I don't like fucking this. I don't like, you know, he said mean things, or he did whatever. You don't ever hear anything illegal, anything dirty, anything, you know, you don't ever hear shit like that, because we would never in a million years.
Dave, you said a few weeks ago you would be interested in talking to Dan Askren I don't know if you saw the comments that Bjorn Rebney made about, he's not interested in really pursuing.
Bjorn Rebney's a scumbag. The guy says, yeah, we're gonna let him go and let's just part ways. And he ain't fucking parting ways with him. He's got a matching right and all that bullshit.
He goes to like the Alvarez thing?
This guy is a fucking typical boxing piece of shit. Everybody knows the guy's a scumbag, and it is what it is. So we'll see what happens to Ben. Maybe first they say they're gonna let him go, and they're not gonna let him go. They'll probably end up suing him too and making him fucking sit out and lose a bunch of money and fuck him in a deal. Bad guys. They're bad guys.
I mean, coming out and saying that they are going to let him go and not re-sign him,
And not do
a
it.
disservice to him. I don't know
Yeah.
if it's true, because then what's the incentive?
It's exactly what they're doing. What they're doing is he's fucking him, is what he's doing. He's not giving him, he's doing the same thing that he did to Eddie. He's not letting him really go out and get fair. Do you really think, honestly, everybody here, do you think that if Eddie Alvarez did a deal with us, Eddie Alvarez wouldn't have made a lot of money? Hector Lombard did. Hector Lombard got paid. That's what when you're allowed, when you become you can go out and find out what you're worth. That's what that thing in the contract is. But these guys are signing these contracts over there that just fuck them. And then you got fucking Bozo and the other Bozo over there going, this is the greatest place in the world to work and we're so happy. Then what the fuck are you talking about me for? If you love where you're at, you really love it, and you're that happy, why are you talking about me? That makes no sense. You moved on to a better place. It's like you went to fucking heaven, right? It's like going to heaven and, bitching about earth. You know what I mean? It's like, what are you fucking complaining about? Apparently you guys are the happiest you've ever been in your whole fucking life, right? But all you talk about is me. And again, what are they going to go on SportsCenter and talk about? The fight? SportsCenter guy didn't even know what to say. So you both lost 10 of your fucking last 10 fights, and none of you have, neither one of you have a win, but you're on SportsCenter for some reason. I don't know why. I guess just to talk about me.
Did you see the graphics said UFC stars?
Yeah, said UFC stars on there and shit. It's just fucking crazy, man.
Have you heard about the contract Eddie signed, and are you surprised by it?
Whose contract?
Eddie.
No, I'm not surprised. I mean, he was in a shitty situation.
But that Bellator would make a deal like that. It's a 2-fight deal.
You know more than I do. I don't know his deal. 2-fight deal, and
so it's a 2-fight.
I heard if he loses, he gets cut.
If he loses, he can leave. If he wins, he has to fight him again, Chandler. But if he wins the second fight, he's free agent. Win or lose. Would you say that's a strange deal?
Yeah. Everything about it is, it's a scumbag boxing deal. That's what it is. That's what they do in boxing. That's what they do to guys.
To you, does that say that they're just rolling the dice, hoping that he loses?
Yeah. Well, did you ever see that when guys come to the end of their career? I'll give you an example. For like a guy like Rampage that wanted, did you see us pull any, you got to do this, we'll sue you, we'll blah, blah, blah. You want to go. If you don't want to be here, why would we want you here? And then what are they doing? If Eddie Alvarez loses, what do they think? He's going to come sign a deal with the UFC? No. We really don't take their rejects. We really don't.
You wouldn't take him?
No. If Eddie loses, why would we bring him in the UFC? They put him in a real shitty situation. But that's what that guy is. That guy's a piece of shit.
Do you think he really calls the shots anymore?
No, he doesn't. That's a fact. That's a fact.
Do you think he lasts there a long time?
Huh?
Do you think he lasts there a long time?
Oh, I have no idea.
Be around a long time like you are? Well,
I don't know. Let me tell you what. Snakes have a way of, he's a snake.
You told us that I think in Montreal that the Alvarez thing was going to get ugly, is what you said. How ugly did it get?
It got really ugly for Alvarez. Not for us. Not for us. Not fucking us. He's not doing anything to us. He's hurting Eddie Alvarez in the prime of his career when he had the opportunity. And what I've always said about that is he had the opportunity to go out and find out what he was worth. And he did, yet he didn't get paid. Yet he didn't get what he was worth.
So you more regret that for his sake
Yeah.
than you do for your guys' sake?
Yeah, I mean, the UFC is going to roll on with or without Eddie Alvarez, but that was Eddie Alvarez worked his whole career to get to the spot where you know, there was at least a couple players that were interested in him. Then he went out and found out what he was worth, and those guys screwed him.
Yeah, back to Brazil, and I promise it's not a Vitor question.
And I said too, listen, keep him. I mean, keep him, but pay the fucking kid. Guy's got $5 billion in cash, you know. And then you see people on Twitter and on the internet and shit, and like, yeah, but just because they got $5 billion, yeah, if you want to fucking keep him, yeah, you pay him. I mean, I don't know if Viacom MMA really believed that they were going to get into this thing and they were just going to start wheelbarrowing money into the fucking office. Isn't how it works. You have to build a fucking business. It takes time, and you have to do the right things, and they're doing all the wrong things, and they continue to do all the wrong things. Like the Battle of the Buffoons. You know what I mean?
Sorry if I jumped the gun there.
No,
but,
that's all right.
I'm just wondering, when the first season of Tough Brazil aired, we got the replays on Fuel TV. For international seasons in the future, are they going to be on Fox Sports 2 or Fox Sports 1? Do you know anything about that?
I literally went into a fucking coma there. Ask me that question again. I was staring at you and didn't hear a word you said.
I'm sorry. I know it's been a long day for you, but basically, the replays of the first season of Tough Brazil, they aired on Fuel TV. Now, is there going to be an arrangement for the international seasons going forward that they'll be on Fox Sports 2 or Fox Sports 1?
I don't know. I think I'd like to think that our program is doing so well that we'll be putting this. The press conference is airing tonight on Fox Sports 2. Our content's doing really well. We're going to be doing
But I think it helps for some of those fight nights, like the one in Belo Horizonte, if the viewers in North America, you know, in the United States get to see these Brazilian fighters, because they're huge. Obviously, global loves the ratings, but we need to get to know these guys a little more here too.
Yeah, well, a lot of these fights are airing back here. I mean, the Vitor fight will be aired back here, and we would end up getting those on TV.
Dana, have you watched Vanderlei's video talking about the Sony fight?
Watched Vanderlei's? I did not see it. I heard about it, but I didn't see it.
I was just going to ask you about if nothing changed about it.
You know, I know publicly it looked like whatever with Vanderlei. I like Vanderlei very much, and I respect him as a fighter and as a person. So, you know, me and Vanderlei will figure this thing out.
So
There's still a chance.
No, I'm just saying I'm not mad at him, or there's no animosity between us or anything like that. But he's not going to be he's not going to be healthy till January. So he can't even start training till
Are
January.
you safe, Chael, since it's such a big fight?
I don't know.
You haven't talked to Chael about what's next?
Yeah, we talked a little bit tonight.
So what did you talk about?
Things.
He said he really wants to fight on the 20th anniversary.
He does. He wants to fight on that 20th anniversary card. He wants to co-main that fight. Yeah, I'm working on it.
Phil Davis.
Huh?
There's rumor that Chael's calling out Phil Davis.
That Chael
Is calling out Phil Davis.
calling out Phil Davis. Huh?
Mr. Wonderful.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, that fight could happen. That
Yeah,
fight
I
could
need
happen.
to go back to Belfort's one question on that. What are you thinking when you're seeing these guys who fought in your organization go there? Like Congo, Simon there.
Yeah, no, hey, listen. You know, they're not fighting in the UFC anymore. They got to make money. You know, it's like, you know, it's no different than any of these guys that go to a lower level show and start fighting to rebuild their career. You know what I mean? Except when you do a deal over there, you ain't getting out of that fucking deal. You know, talk about, you know, they got you once you sign one of those deals. But it's good for them. I mean, if that's where they want to be and they want to make money, you know, good for them.
How do you think the pay-per-view will do?
You know, the pay-per-view business is tough. And it's a lot harder. They can't get guys to watch their free shit. I mean, it's just another one of those mistakes. You know, and I was there once. I did that. I thought that the answer was pay-per-view. Pay-per-view almost put us out of business. Yeah. I said it before and I'll say it again. Nobody over there knows what the fuck they're doing. They just don't know what the fuck they're doing. Now they're just throwing shit at the wall, seeing if it'll stick. You know, but if people aren't watching your free shit, pretty good idea people aren't going to want to pay for it.
Are you going to watch it?
No.
Now you might put a replay on free TV just to see
No.
what happened.
No. I mean, I really don't watch a lot of other stuff. And you know what I mean? To get me out to actually go, you know, I'm going to go to Floyd and Canelo. I'm going to go to that fight. You know, there's fights that I'll go to. But your fight, again, you're talking about I say this all the time. You know, there's so many things going on in our lives, right? From whether it's your family, fucking new movie comes out, something else is going on Saturday night. There's so many things. You got to have a good fight to fucking stay home on a Saturday night and want to pay for it. Neither one of those guys are fucking top 10 ranked fighters. Tito fucking retired because, don't you remember sitting through his stupid fucking 45-minute press conferences? Like, you'd ask him a question and he'd ramble on for 45 minutes about shit that made no sense. And then he'd start talking about, I'm not going to be that guy that's staying around too long, getting punched in the head like all these other guys. I'm going to be an actor. I'm an actor. I was blessed with the gift of acting and all this other shit.
He does get to act now if he does the pro.
Yeah, he's acting like he's a fucking fighter that can still compete now. Guys hasn't won a fight since, I mean, he lost 9 of his last 10 fights, right? Is that what the number is? Between the two of them. Yeah.
Other than Bader.
Bader's the only fight he's won since fucking 2000 something, right? And Rampage has lost his last 3, right? Rampage literally came out and said, I can't compete with the best in the world anymore. And you're asking me if I'm going to buy that pay-per-view and stay home on a Saturday night and watch it.
From your perspective, it would be like watching a train wreck, not putting words.
No, from my perspective, it would be a waste of a fucking evening where I could be doing something else. You know what I mean? I don't have any. It's probably going to be a Saturday night, I would assume. Yeah, and I'm going to be doing something else with my fucking kids or whatever. You know, like I said, like Floyd and Canelo, 2 undefeated fighters, 2 of the best in the fucking world. You know, there's going to be all this energy and hype around this thing, and I want to go out and see what happens. That's a fight that I'll go to.
We've been hearing Ronda Rousey saying that she feels public perception of her is going to change once Ultimate Fighter airs.
She's being overly critical of herself because you have these girls, you know, Misha's not saying it publicly, but Misha feels, you know, is nervous about it too. The thing that we did in Boston, neither of them wanted to be there. You know, and it's this thing that happens when you go into a situation like the Ultimate Fighter, right? And it's so hard to explain to you guys because it's like a fucking pressure cooker, you know? And then you start, when the season's over and you start thinking back, you're like, oh my God. And it's getting closer to airing. I never watched season 1 of The Ultimate Fighter. I didn't watch it. I was fucking horrified, you know? That whole do you want to be a fucking fighter thing, you know, I was like, oh my fucking God, you know? But when you put it into the context of what was going on, you know, Lorenzo fucking calls me up and says, what's going on? I'm like, nothing, what's going on with you? He's like, I'm down here at the gym and all these guys are saying they're not going to fight. I said, what do you mean they're not going to fight? They're not going to fight. They spent $10 million on this fucking show. It's the last ditch effort. The last $10 million that's going into the fucking UFC. And I got, you know, 6 guys that say they're not fighting. I was like, really? I'm on my fucking way down. I was doing like 110 miles an hour. I broke every fucking law in the state of Nevada. Came screeching into the thing and bust into the fucking gym, and that's what happened. You know. And then the season goes great. Everything works out good. And then fucking you got 3 months, and then things coming on air, and you're sitting there going, oh my fucking God. You know, and that's what happens, and that's what Ronda's doing right now. She's never been on TV before. She's come out and fought. She's done interviews. No, she's never been on TV before, like in that type of a situation. Freaks you out.
So in your opinion,
it freaks the fighters out. You don't think every season fighters don't call me and go, you're not going to show this, are you? You're not going to show that, are you? Yeah, we're probably going to show that. We're probably going to show that too.
So she's really worried about nothing, then she'll just come out a bigger star.
Yeah, she was fine. Yeah, I mean, what you're going to see, you've seen worse. You've seen worse from Ronda publicly. I mean, she's fucking aggressive. She hates Misha Tate, and she's super competitive. I think she was a great coach. She's getting all whacked out about nothing.
Tito is managing Christine Santos right now. Christine Cyborg, you think it's going to make it difficult for you guys?
No, Tito's working really hard on her career. I could tell he's fucking running around doing his own shit. He already fucked her career up.
Any chance you might be interested in her? Or you just don't want to talk with him and as a manager?
Yeah, I'm gonna call the fucking buffoon on the phone and you imagine, seriously, you imagine trying to do fucking business with that buffoon? He's a fucking buffoon. Try to have an educated conversation with him. It's not possible. You can't have an intelligent conversation with him. I could go to the fucking zoo, okay? Go over to the fucking monkey cage and have a better interaction, you know, a more intelligent interaction with the monkeys at the zoo than the buffoon. Sorry, go ahead.
Do you pay any attention on the Russian guys who perform in the Bellator?
No.
You don't watch it? You don't have no idea?
Nobody's watching it.
Well, I was just curious, you know, because it seems that they have much more talent because, I mean, for whatever reasons. Are you interested in bringing more Russian
Well, if
guys?
somebody watches it, let me know and tell me how they look.
Do you think there is something that keeps Russian guys with great sambo background or any other disciplines to come in the UFC just because financial situation or whatever reason can be?
Say that again?
Do you think, what do you think is the problem for Russian or post-USSR fighters come out and perform in UFC? Do you think it's more the financial issue or do you see it in some different?
I don't know. I have no idea. I don't even know how to answer that question.
Dana, you mentioned you're going to go and maybe with Canelo with the co-main event, and they're obviously trying to stack. Golden Boy's doing more of a propensity on their big events to stack the cards. You know, you and Oscar was in Boston. Have you guys talked about whether or not the UFC has influenced, you know, Golden Boy to be able to make sure that it's more of a, you know, main card?
It's one of the things I respect about Oscar. He says it publicly. He says that we have, and that, you know, and that night when he was at the fight, he was like, "This is unbelievable," you know. And
do you think we're going to see some UFC influence in like their production value and things along those lines?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. He seems to get it. You know, the hard part is it's in boxing. Listen, there's one way. You know how you do it. You know how you make all this and do what you do. You spend money. You spend a shitload of money, which is what a lot of boxing guys don't like to do. So easy. You throw a ring in there, you get a fucking lighting grid, you know, you make a big deal with the two main event guys, and then you throw a bunch of guys on the undercard because nobody shows up anyway. You know what I mean? To do what we have done here, you spend a lot of money. And that's why you've seen a lot of guys that have come out and competed or whatever they were doing, coming out and getting into the business. They blow through $25-30 million like that. And once you get to those kind of numbers, it's fucking scary. Like, do we really want to stay in this business? And who's to say it's going to turn around for us? And who's, you know, and that's what we did. You know, we stayed in this thing till we got to 44 million. And I always talk about that number. If you had 44 million to invest, you started with 80 something. You got taxed on that money, and then you had, you know, understand what I'm saying? It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money, and it starts to get scary. So.
Do you think the commitment issues is why, I mean, we've seen Elite XC, Affliction, we could just reel them off. Now Bellator, and I mean, there are some good shows of theirs, but I mean, already Spike is shifting their nights. They're going Friday nights. Their reality show got shifted to 11 on Thursdays, which that's a rough time slot no matter what, 11 p.m. So I mean, it seems like they're already switching things, and they've been in their deal for 8 months.
Here's the stupid thing about the way that it happened. You know, their television network that made a decision because they lost the UFC. They didn't lose it, they fucking gave it away. Basically didn't want it anymore. And I told you this before. That pompous Philippe Dumont said, "We built this thing, we'll do it again." He really fucking believed, you know. He didn't even know we were on our air for 2 years, but he built this thing. You know, so they made a knee-jerk decision to get into this thing with, you know, you got guys over there. You really think they're passionate about this? No, it fucking worked for them. This thing worked on their air. They're like, all right, fucking these guys paid for it. They put up the money. They didn't even want it. You really break this thing down and think about it. They didn't want the fucking UFC on their channel. We paid for it. It worked. So then, yeah, they kept it. They kept it, and it kept working, and it did great things for them. It's not like they were fucking passionate about it. They helped build the fucking sport like they made it sound in the beginning, and, you know, we did this and we did that. Fucking flipped a switch and put us on the air. We fucking built it. and we did what we did. And I guarantee you, they realize it now.
You can't predict the future. I mean, you guys still have 6 years on the Fox deal, but seeing what CBS did with MMA at one point, obviously you've talked to the other networks. Do you see Fox as being, I mean, again, I hate to make predictions, but do you see the UFC really ever trying to leave Fox, whether it's 6 years left and extending the deal? I mean, do you see the UFC being on Fox?
I fucking love Fox, man. I love it. I hope we're here for 100 years. I love it.
I mean, you mentioned the Wednesday situation.
I'm not a very good negotiator. I'm not a very good poker player. We'll see what happens when the rights come up, and we'll talk to, I fucking love Fox, man. They're the greatest guys to be with. They're committed to building the sport. You see it. I mean, you see it in what they do. They throw us in the NFL. They put us in Major League Baseball. They spend money. They launch the network with us. I've been in the TV business for a long time. These are the guys.
Is there a chance that the fight nights like this one can shift off of Wednesdays, let's say in February or March, when you don't have college football that's going to go on Saturday nights?
Yeah, I don't think that it's really, they put us there because of that. They put us on Wednesday night because they were looking for something, they were looking for something strong that they thought could deliver on a Wednesday night. And just so you guys know, I know the whole tone tonight was like, oh, Wednesday night, there's going to be a challenge and this and that. Challenge selling tickets.
Right.
Wednesday night, first of all, Saturday night's the worst night on television. You know that, right? Does everybody know that? It's the worst fucking night on TV. Hot levels are the lowest, which is houses using televisions, are the lowest on Saturday. And your 18 to 34-year-old demo is out the door. They're gone, right? Wednesday night is an amazing night. That's when the Ultimate Fighter used to run. Wednesday night is a great night to be on TV. Yes, there's a ton of competition on Wednesday nights, but let me tell you, live sports is where it's at. On Wednesday night, the UFC is live. If your other show is on, you can tape it at the same time. You can DVR it, watch it, and zip through all the commercials. You can watch that show in fucking 20 minutes. You know what I mean, or 40 minutes, depending on how long the show is.
You basically have to balance, getting good gates on Saturdays and getting maybe better TV ratings on Wednesdays. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Set to
It's exactly what it is. So it's the live gate is the one thing that's going to be the challenge, and we'll figure that out.
5,000 on a Wednesday night, that's not bad, I don't think.
It's fucking awesome. We did $350,000 tonight at the gate.
On Wednesday night?
Not bad at all. It's fucking great. And what the hell was I going to say? 350 on Wednesday night, and
I mean, the first prelim started before most people got off work.
Yeah. Yep.
Conor McGregor, he tweeted yesterday that he wants to be back in 9 months. I don't know how close you've been talking to him. I know he went to see the doctor.
Yep.
George St. Pierre had surgery.
He's getting the surgery.
What's the time frame?
It's today. Tomorrow.
It's Thursday now.
He's getting the surgery tomorrow.
Thursday?
Yep.
Does that sound like a realistic time frame?
Yeah, that could be right.
So speaking of knees, any Dominic Cruz update?
I have none. No, I haven't talked to him or anything.
Is it kind of a matter of you guys can just leave it alone because you're going to have whoever comes out of the ground?
He talked to us. I think I told you the guys this already. First of the year. Yeah. Yep. Next year.
We've heard time frames before, and then they get pushed back and pushed back.
Yeah, I don't think it'll get pushed back again.
And then you guys are okay. Just then he'll come back and he'll unify the belt. Is that good for him? He's going to be offered 2.5 years minimum.
No, none of this is good for him. Yeah. I feel sorry for that kid. Don't forget he was supposed to fight Uriah as the champion on the Anderson Silva Chael Sonnen card, which he gets a piece of pay-per-view. That was his fucking lottery ticket. I feel so sorry for that kid.
The last time he fought was on Versus. That should tell you how long it's been. So he hasn't had the chance to benefit on this. Besides being on TV, he's been on
You're right.
pre-shows.
No, you're right. Yeah, he's at a bum rap, man. And if he, I'm just hoping he's going to be ready by the beginning of the year because he can't go on any longer. You know what I mean?
But
we've been really, really good about it.
If he's champion, you can't give him a tune-up fight, right?
No, he doesn't want a tune-up fight either. He wants to come out and fight the best. It's the way that kid's built.
Speaking of Uriah, do you match him and McDonald up to break up that logjam at number 2 and number 3?
I don't know.
It'd be a hell of a fight.
I agree. Be a great fight. Yeah.
Dina, talking about the Russia. Sorry, I'm just coming back, just thinking about this. You know how here you do all the pay-per-views and everything else. Do you have the idea that in Russia you can actually look all this for free, watch it all for free? Does this ever come to your mind? Do you ever think about it?
That you could watch what for free?
The pay-per-view cards. That in Russia we don't pay for it. We just
Steal it?
pirate stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm being honest about it.
I
It is
got
what
it. No,
it
I
is.
got
It's
it.
the same like, I'm going to Best Buy to buy Microsoft Word here. Back home I get it for free just because I download it from internet.
Right.
So, does this ever, going into the new market, like you said, you're planning with Lorenzo.
Russia is a tricky market. Very tricky market. And we got to figure it out. And that's what we're doing. That's why we're going there.
But what about, I brought you up. Did you thought about it, or did you have a thought in your mind, or have you?
Yeah, no, we've definitely thought about it. Obviously we're going there because Russia is, we're trying to figure out how to work in that market. Yeah.
And you were talking a lot about investing money in UFC. When was the year when it's kind of the coin turns around and you start
Making money?
making money?
I think we started making money in 2006 or 2007.
And do you think what was the first, the most important things that turned things around?
The Ultimate Fighter. The Ultimate Fighter worked. If the Ultimate Fighter didn't work, that would have been it. It would have been over.
There were many questions about Russia tonight, so I gotta ask about Poland. Do you pay any attention to Poland? There's a pay-per-view there. TV stations have good rankings and good viewership.
Yep.
There are two big organizations, and everyone is waiting for UFC.
Yeah.
Everyone is willing to pay. They pay for a local show.
I told you guys, man, when it happened, Gary Cook is the man. He's the guy who's over there running, Europe and other parts of the world for us. He's smart. He gets it, and he's figuring all this shit out. Guy's a stud. A lot of people in England were complaining about the BT deal. The BT deal is the best thing that could have happened to us in England. These guys actually are spending money. There's people dedicated to working on the UFC. They don't want this thing to fail. That's what you got to have. I don't want to be on some fucking time-shifted 3 o'clock in the morning. They don't even care half the time. It doesn't start on time. And, we did that so that we could just keep, the fans over there happy. We could keep it on TV so the people who were watching over there could watch it at 3 in the morning. This new deal we have is awesome. This thing's going to be great for us. And he's working on Poland and other places too. But he's the guy you want to talk to. He's the man with the plan. He's got everything.
Do you stack that up with like Polish American fighters like Seth Brzezinski, guys like that?
Yeah, Ivan Putski, guys like that. Definitely. Everybody knew Ivan Putski, man. I like it. I like it. Good?
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for coming, man. You guys all going to Milwaukee?